Hi y'all, this is the Southern Belle from Hell here, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, welcome. Today I am building a haunted house in Forgotten Hollow. So I wanted to do like a Victorian style, I wouldn't say a mansion, but it's a pretty big house. It ends up being 4 stories, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and a lot of space if you want to make other rooms bedrooms instead. But I wanted to do a haunted house where it looks kind of deserted, but also maybe someone is moving in, or maybe someone is kind of just squatting there and doing research on the paranormal. So it's gonna look disheveled, but it's also gonna look like maybe someone is residing here. So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to get the dimensions right, and I knew I wanted like a little, almost like an attic area, just kind of like to make this a tower and make it look super creepy from the outside. This build, it took me quite a while. I mean, not as long as my last build did, the American Horror Story Coven House, but it still took a bit. I added a lot of kind of grungy details that took a bit. I really loved these stairs from Get Together. The Tudor look kind of just fit in, and the black and white color scheme of the wallpaper. Like I kind of wanted this house to give me an excuse to use the spooky stuff pack, because I hardly ever get to use it. I mean, the wallpaper choices are wild in the spooky stuff pack. Like, you have to have a plan going on. And so I stick mainly to spooky stuff, crystal creations, realm of magic, vampires, and werewolves throughout this entire build. I do use a window from the new Love Struck pack just because it kind of looked perfect with this concept I had. I used the dark swatch version, and yeah, I loved it. I use a couple of decor pieces from Cats and Dogs as well. So if you find this on the gallery, my ID is listed below. Yeah, you'll see, a bunch of different packs, but the main ones are the ones I provided. So all of this, no CC. For some reason on the gallery it shows that I use CC, but I didn't. So I don't know. Maybe there's a glitch in the gallery, or a glitch in the matrix, glitch in my brain, one or the other. But yeah, this build just really gave me the freedom to use the stuff from the spooky stuff pack, because I've been dying to use it. I've had this pack forever, and I always use the trick-or-treat stuff and, little lights or whatever when it is spooky season, but I hardly ever get to use the wallpapers and stuff. So yeah, this gave me a lot of freedom to just do that, and I loved it. I had so much fun doing it. But I wanted to kind of show how I am doing the roof, because when you're doing a roof on a Victorian build, it is so tough because there's so many different bump outs, and the roof can look really, really messed up if you don't do it right. So I'm doing a lot of cover-ups with the half gabled roof build item, and it's perfect. It ends up turning out great, but it always looks wonky at first. Right now, like currently, it is October, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun stuff planned for Halloween. I never do. I live in an awesome community where we have a ton of trick-or-treaters, and I just never really plan anything on Halloween anymore, because I know there's going to be a ton of trick-or-treaters over. And they're so cute. I just want to be home and give them candy. But I think I am going to like do some cooking, like make creepy cake pops with my niece or something. But yeah, I used to, when I was a young lady, I used to be like, yeah, Halloween party. And Halloween in New Orleans, where I spent years, was amazing. Voodoo Fest, friggin' awesome. But I hope you guys have awesome plans for Halloween. If you have any cool plans, please tell me them down below. Maybe give me some ideas so I can get myself out of the house. Also, if you have any horror movie recommendations, I'm a huge horror movie buff person. So I've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix and a ton of stuff on Max. And yeah, I've really been loving foreign horror films here lately. Like, their storylines are so different than American storylines, and I'm living for it because I feel like our storylines can get a little stale. I feel like every horror movie in the past 20 years has had a possessed child and, a creepy nun somewhere. Like, that's the usual. There's going to be like a possessed child and a creepy nun. I realized after basically being done with building this house that I did not put any fireplaces. What is an old house without fireplaces? And I went, oh my goodness, I am such an idiot. So I'm just putting some chimney stacks here and kind of marking for myself, like, okay, this is where the fireplaces are going to go in this room. And it turned out like being perfect how it was. So I kind of play around with some dark brick swatches, and at first I wanted to use the dark brick from, I think it's Base Game, but I end up with the dark industrial looking brick from Werewolves, and I'm like, oh yeah, because it has that worn look, like really worn and weathered look. And no, I ended up really loving this house and kind of coming up with a little storyline, and I'm kind of inspired a bit by the Not So Human challenge, where you have your main sim starting out in an abandoned house. And I was kind of thinking like, well, if anyone does this challenge, I would love to see them take over this abandoned mess of a house. Because I mean, it's got all the stuff. It's got all the stuff you need, like the essentials, but it just looks like it's been there for a long time with no TLC at all. But yeah, if anyone likes to use this house or wants to use this house, I would love to see screenshots and stuff like that. Yeah, I love when I get to see people use my creations and see what they create out of it. So in this little detail, this is from the debug menu, I found this really like disheveled looking log piece, and I decided to use them as basically boards on the windows. Like, whoever was the last permanent resident of this house, they boarded up the windows and, tried to keep people out. And I just really like this concept. The only thing I hated, and I think it's my tool mod, and I love my tool mod. It is the most updated version, but for some reason the rotate option was not working on this particular log piece, because I wanted to have them rotated on each window and kind of mix matched, but I couldn't do that. So it still turned out looking fine. I'm not upset with it. I'm putting some little bit of decorative outdoor pieces around the house before I start doing landscaping. I wanted to use this kind of brick fence, and this is from Cats and Dogs, and kind of have the broken pieces. And since this house has been left deserted, maybe the other members of the community, they just kind of dump their trash here. Maybe this is trash from the house and no one's just ever come to pick it up. I thought that added just an extra element of, that this house has been abandoned for a while. And I just go nuts with all of the plant choices from the vampires pack. I tried to make sure everything looked like it fit in with the lot. The lot is in Forgotten Hollow, so I wanted everything to match. So almost everything except for like the dried yellow bushes is from the vampires pack. The dried yellow bushes is from Horse Ranch, I believe. I like that it added a different color, but it still looks, dead, in need of water. We've got the dead rose bushes, we've got that little bit of touch of red. We've got kind of like these dying vines that have touches of yellow and red. And, I just thought that added, some color. We've got dry grass that looks, kind of grayish white. I didn't want it all to just, look stale on the outside, but definitely not alive, if that makes sense. Just a bunch of plants that are in desperate need of water. But I love this lot. It is the empty lot that is in Forgotten Hollow, and I love it because it kind of overlooks a cliff with a little cave, and it's got some water kind of at the bottom of this cliff, and it just looks creepy. It looks like there is a story to be told here. So the only problem I'm going to say is when I would zoom out from behind the house, oh my goodness, the camera kept jumping so bad because it wants to, I guess, climb up this cliff or climb down the cliff, if you will. And it was a pain in the butt because I'm trying to decorate the back and the camera keeps like slipping. So I'm kind of like speeding through this part of the video where I'm putting up all the little, dead brambles and, just really creepy looking vines all over the house. And this takes me a while. Like, I wanted to make sure everything looked, random, but also put together. Like, I didn't want it to look cookie cutter, but I wanted to give off as many creepy vibes as I possibly could. I hope I succeeded in that. But no, this part was so much fun because I felt like with everything I added, the scary vibe was becoming clearer and clearer. And yeah, this was just so much fun. I decided for the ground shading to use the darkest, muddiest swatch that is offered, because the darker dirt for, I guess, it's garden bedlam or something, it still didn't look that dark. I guess because the grass swatch here in this world is already pretty dark, so I just used mud, just deep dark mud. And maybe, since we do have some water behind us, maybe this is like a kind of a damp area. Now I'm starting to put up outside lights, and I had to use these little like creepy hand holding a candle lights from the Spooky Stuff pack. I've been wanting to use it. I've never found a reason to use it. So I said, I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make this happen in this build. I'm trying to figure out the layout because I wanted a bunch of little rooms, and like little rooms that could be used for like seance and communicating with the dead and studying, and because if in your storyline you do want an inhabitant here and you download this, you want to play in it, all that good stuff, I really just pictured kind of like a Not So Human challenge where this person really wants to learn about the paranormal. They're not a paranormal sim, but they want to learn about it. They want to know, what do witches do? Like, what do they have to do to become a witch? What kind of witches are there? What about vampires? How do you become one? Do you have to be evil? Maybe a little bit of werewolf stuff. I put some werewolf stuff in there. and ghosts. Maybe this person is just obsessed with the supernatural, and they come to Forgotten Hollow and found this empty house that has all of this occult type of stuff in it already, and they're like, I can just do my studying here and find out as much as possible here. So that's kind of like the story I have in my mind. I was so tempted to put more stuff from the realm of magic, like spellcaster stuff and vampire stuff, but then I said, well, you know what? I have a ton of builds planned for this month for a spellcaster and for a vampire and for a werewolf. So I'm just gonna leave this house as a house for like a normal sim that just wants to research it. I'm not gonna put any vampire coffins and stuff like that. It's just gonna have a bunch of random paranormal stuff that looks like it'd be great for the studious sim that is very curious about this type of lifestyle. So I hope that's interesting to you guys. I just didn't want to do a build where I'm using the exact same stuff over and over and over, because I do have a vampire build coming up and the rest of the members of the Sims 4 occult. So I don't know, I just really like this concept of just a normal sim. Well, I wouldn't say normal. I mean, obviously they would be here, so they're not too normal, but you know what I mean. So as you can tell with the wall coverings, I had fun. I did a lot of mix and matching. I used Get Together. I used mostly wall coverings from Realm of Magic, vampires, and spooky stuff. Yeah, I had so much fun because I hardly ever get to use this stuff, or if I do, it's only a little bit. But I'm about to start a gameplay series. Yeah, oh, I'm so excited. I'm about to start a gameplay series, and I might feature this house in it. I'm still trying to figure out the storyline, but basically it's going to start with the new EP, Life and Death, and then after that we're going to move into a series that was made by one of my Facebook group members, and she posted it, and I was like, wow, this sounds interesting and creepy, and it gives me a chance to work with like all members of the occult. It's not so human. It's completely new, and that's why I liked it. It was something different. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe so you know when that stuff's out and ready. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working on the sitting room, and I'm using some stuff from the new stuff pack, story book nursery. Yeah, I don't know why. To me that doesn't roll off the tongue, storybook nursery. But I'm using some furniture pieces from that, a lot of stuff from paranormal, and I'm just kind of making some windows have grand curtains, and then some of the windows have dark tarps over it. Maybe through the years the curtains just were too moth eaten and they fell, and so we've got to cover up these windows somehow. I try to fill like every room with some disheveled wall decor, like it's missing patches. We've got spider webs hanging from everywhere. We've got a bunch of tears, rips all along the walls. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't put like any cracks or anything like that in the floors, and the reason why is because this whole house I used dark floors, so I'm like, you wouldn't even be able to see the cracks anyways. So around the entryway, what I decided to do was put a bunch of like clutter pieces and boxes from Basement Treasures. In my mind, I'm thinking maybe this is from the person that just moved in, or maybe it is from the person that last inhabited here, and somehow, some way, they never got all their stuff. What happened to them? I just thought that added like extra pieces of mystery, like whose stuff is all this? You know, could be the new sim, could be the old sims that lived here. And I found these lights. Let's see, I think they're from the vintage glamour pack, and it is a chess piece, but I sized it down so it would look like little fixtures before you walk onto the grand staircase. I just thought that was perfect. So I'm adding more cracks and stuff to the walls. It's a big house, so I'm trying to remember, okay, we need to add some things in this room and in that room. And I love the way the cracks looked against this Tudor style wall. Like, it looked so realistic, like the very foundations are crumbling. For this kitchen, I wanted it to look kind of like a witch's kitchen. Maybe whoever originally inhabited this place, if they weren't a spellcaster, maybe they were just interested in making potions. So you kind of have a mix of things where you've got the crystal fireplace, and you also have like random ingredients. I realized though, while I was working on this kitchen, it looks too fancy. So I made sure to put in the used looking refrigerator and the DIY sink and everything, but I wanted to keep a few niceties to show that at one time this house was owned by, you know, an affluent member of the paranormal society. You know, you don't just get a huge Victorian house, you know, for free. So, you know, there is some niceties. The structure itself is nice, but it just hadn't been lived in for a while, or the people that did live in it did not take care of it like they should have. So I'm just kind of like playing with different items to still keep that look. It was so much fun. If you are a builder, build you a haunted house. It is so much fun to just give yourself freedom to use different items that maybe you hardly ever get to use, like me. So I decided to put like a little used looking coffee pot in there. I'm putting little like witchy looking decor, clutter items, just all sorts of things that I want to put on the shelves and on the fireplace itself. You know, just really look like whoever was cooking in here or is cooking in here, they are kind of into making potions. They're into making stuff that is not just for eating dinner, guys. I found this huge spider, and it's just a decor piece, but I thought like, oh, wouldn't that be perfect? I have all these spider webs, so let's make sure to put like the queen spider over here. I did put some sugar skulls and whatchamacallit, I don't know, it's got a fancier name, but it's basically like the shelf that you put the sugar skulls on. I put that upstairs. I never can collect all the sugar skulls. That is one of the goals I'm going to try to do in my next gameplay series. I always, you know, can collect like the first 5, but after that, it is so difficult. If you've managed to do that, kudos to you, because that's not easy. That's not easy. And then finding all these dead Sims, oh my goodness, it's tough. It's tough. All right, I digress though. All right, so the kitchen is starting to look spookier and spookier. It's starting to look a little bit more multi-purpose, like it ain't just for, you know, making some bacon and eggs. And I'm just kind of filling up the space with, you know, more cobwebs, some spooky looking pieces of decor. I wanted to add a little bit of graffiti on different walls throughout the house, you know, because especially if this type of house was in my neighborhood growing up, I would have definitely wanted to explore in there. Like, I would have been scared, like just off my rocker scared, but I also would have wanted to see what's inside. So maybe some teenagers came in did their graffiti thing, or maybe some werewolves came in and was like, we hate vampires, we see vampire stuff in here, graffiti everywhere, blah. But I had this idea for the downstairs bathroom to kind of make it not usable. So I put this factory clutter there, and I decide for the bathroom, like, it has usable parts in it, but you can't really like walk in and get through it. If that bothers you, you can remove the crap I put in there. But basically I use the trash decor of the broken bathtub. Like, we've got the sink, we've got this, kind of makeshift toilet, but the bathtub, it went ka-chink, or maybe someone tried to steal it or something. And it's just sitting there. So if you download this and you're like, no, I have to have a downstairs bathroom, of course, remove it. But I just thought this little decor piece added, again, some more mystery of who all has been up in this house. How long has this house been without a suitable owner? Now we are on the second story, and I wanted this area, when the staircase opens up, to kind of be like a little bit of a skill area. We have the seance table, we've got the organ, creepy organ, and maybe this is like just a little spot where the previous permanent inhabitant used to entertain and give the elite some palm reading, and try to contact their departed loved ones. I put some creepy statues in here, like something that I would feel would be eerie. While I look through the menu, of course, I get all of these other ideas of, where to put certain art pieces in different parts of the house. I start putting up cobwebs, and I decided for the room that is directly off this, the opening to the staircase, to kind of make it like a little bar area, just kind of fitting into like this is the entertainment type of area. I decided to have we have our seance table, but I also wanted to do like a more quiet contact the dead type of room. So you see me fiddling around with that as well. So here is our little bar area, and I put the rocking chairs from the storybook Nursery. I love the design of those rocking chairs. Like, it looks comfortable, but it also looks eerie at the same time. Like, whoever does sit in this chair, if she wants to read you a story, say no. Just say no. I use some things from the art studio because I do imagine kind of like if you have an inhabitant here, during their downtime, when they're not, focusing on the supernatural aspect of things, maybe they're a painter, maybe they're super creative. And that also gave me an excuse to use stuff from the new kit, the Artist Studio kit, which they went very creative. The Sims creators are super creative when it came to the new kits that just came out. I love the different swatches in the artist kit. It's just like it feels like this is what an artsy sim would have. It's not so generic. It definitely gives you a lot more options. I just kind of like make this room, this little area right here, I put a little computer in it. Maybe the sim that's inhabiting it, that is, really her only kind, or their only kind of technology, so they can do some research and not have to constantly go to the library. So I do make a little half bathroom here. Finally, a usable bathroom. I have a bigger bathroom, so you do have accessible bathrooms. They're not all like, like, yeah, you can't use the bathroom on this lot. No, you can. I just kind of like the idea of a disheveled looking bathroom. I don't put lights in every single room of the house just because I felt like some rooms looked so good and creepy without lights that I don't put it in there just because I liked how scary it looked. But this is the little room that I'm making as kind of like the private contact the dead room. Like, this is not for entertainment purposes. This is for whoever is living in the house. This is their little, space to do all of their nefarious deeds, whatever that might be, away from listening ears. So I just kind of have fun with the paranormal pack and just kind of fill this area up with different things from that pack because, again, I may use a handful of things from it. I don't use a whole lot. So this is giving me just a lot of freedom. And it was so much fun. Just so much fun to like imagine what all the Sims will be able to do. And again, spookifying the room, putting little cracks in the walls, little areas where like, it looks like there's scratches and it's just been through it. Now, this room, for some reason, I'm picturing that the old inhabitants of the house, they had a baby, and of course we're going to use the storybook nursery kit because it's creepy. The design of their stuff is creepy. And I've used so much black, I decided for this room, we're going to do black and white, but mostly white. Since every other room in the house has been so dark. So of course the nursery, let's make it lighter, but it still has black. I mean, look at the wallpaper. It's bats. Come on now. But no, I had so much fun just imagining like a haunted nursery and, maybe hearing the little baby mobile going off in the middle of the night. I don't know, but I think it'd be super cool if it did. And I put the book, that tome, and it's the Tome of Immortality. Like, wouldn't that be creepy to have in a baby's room? So what happened to the baby? I don't know. I was having fun with my storyline, okay? So up here is where I have like all of the, major bedrooms. I have 3 bedrooms down for, any sim to come in and use. And here is the fully functional bathroom with, a tub and sink and everything. And I make another one. It's just not as big. So yeah, there are functional bathrooms on this lot. I decided though to have like some rocks that maybe look like it's fallen down, maybe from whatever, because there's a lot of stone in this house as well. So maybe from like a stone structure and it's around the tub. I kind of just liked the look of that. And I feel like it fit in with the stone floors. I put little tears all over the wallpaper, and I love this wallpaper. To me, it's giving me real Grimmauld Place from Harry Potter vibes. I think I've seen some people recreate the Grimmauld Place, and it looked pretty spot on with these wallpapers. But yeah, I loved doing the little you know what? I have a difficult time talking, but I loved doing the bedrooms and the bathrooms up here and just kind of like, okay, this is a living space. I'm not putting any more clutter items that show these, that there's no one that lives here. I'm filling up the area with creepy looking art, maybe antique looking art. I wanted to add like a pop of color, and one of the really popular and really pretty color swatches in the vampire pack is the purple and black. So I was really excited to use that because I hardly ever, I think I've used it before, but it's been a while. And I just really like the way that room turned out with the purple. And I used this spider web wallpaper, and I knew like even looking at it now, I'm like, it doesn't really fit in, but it was fun for me to use it. I like the way it looked up against this this carpet, and it looks like a spooky room. And I love that we've got this huge fireplace in it, and it looks so grand but also really macabre, just like the new trait we're getting in Life and Death. Guys, I'm excited for Life and Death. I can't even hide my excitement, because I love all the supernatural packs, and I feel like Life and Death is going to give us even more of that supernatural bit that we've been wanting. I mean, get to play with Grimm more. That is awesome. I think, we don't know for sure 100% yet, but I think you can even become the Grimm. I know there's Grimm turns, but I don't know if you max that field, you are the Grimm, or you're just like his right-hand man. I don't know. So I'm just so excited about it, and I'm just picturing, this house being an area of so much fun for that type of gameplay. But I loved decorating these bedrooms and trying to give them like their own vibe, their own personality, but still sticking with the same type of disheveled old Victorian antique, but has been left alone for God knows how long. I loved it. I was living for it. I tried to use like other little clutter pieces that just look like crates or boxes, to just remind us once again that this is an abandoned house. In case you didn't, know, even though it looks like, it's been beat up. I love making grungy builds. It's been too long, and it's so much fun to think of all these different stories and to get so creative with stuff. Here's the other functional bathroom, but it is super tiny, super tiny. It is not for the small sim at all. But Basement Treasures, the stuff from that kit, I used, I think, almost everything from Basement Treasures. There's maybe like a handful of items I didn't use, but I used so much of it, and it just went so well with all of the other crap I used. So I'm just trying to make sure that I have lights in most of the rooms, still leaving some rooms dark, but not all. So if you see me spinning around a lot, that's why I'm trying to make sure, like, okay, how does all this look? Which rooms am I going to leave, in the dark? For the little attic room / art space, I just wanted to have like that beautiful chandelier in there. I think it's from Realm of Magic. So if you saw that, there was really no other reason for me to use it except the fact that like it's an attic space, and I thought that would be a cool little, addition to our inhabitants' art room. Now, I am just putting the finishing touches, adding little pieces of decor down, and, trying to add more of a story to maybe the old inhabitants, a new inhabitant, whoever, adding bits and bobs from, the realm of magic or from vampires, because there could be a whole mix here going on. And whoever our sim is that is, researching the paranormal, they're trying to stuff in as much info as possible. Well, now I'm working on the little attic room. We are nearing the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell me your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you see what else I am going to come up with this month, as well as my gameplay series. And until next time, have a good one. Bye.